Okay, wanted to the way that the world is right now, okay, and everything as it stands. Uh, there's a lot of things that people don't know about now. Okay, the Pentagon has came out and said that they've had ships that they've recovered that were not made in this world. So what they've told people outright, directly told people is that we're not alone, which I've stated many times, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, this isn't I told you so or anything like that. That's not what I'm focused on here. Okay, what I want is for people to be aware of just exactly what's going on in our world. Okay, what's going on in the world, under us, above us, and around us. Okay, now the problem with any information that goes out on the out on the internet, even if it's true, okay, what happens is then information will come out, but then what happens is it gets drowned in a whole bunch of misinformation, and then unless you really know what you're looking for, it's kind of hard to separate it all, and then a person can just be as confused as they were as they started, and get no farther ahead. So here's what I want to do, okay? Now, when it comes to our world and the universe itself and everything in it, I've been it's been something I've been interested in since I was a kid. So it's something that I study and I research. Okay, and I've done it heavily for the last 15 years. Okay, because when I started noticing certain things, I had to get answers for myself. Okay, and so I stopped believing what I was told by lots of people, and in order for me to find anything, I have to dig and find the answers for myself, and that way I find the truth, at least as I see it. Okay, so without filters. And now, if I've done a lot of research in the last 15 years, I watched lots of videos and lots of documentaries and read lots of articles by, all kinds of different universities and different, so I've got to see a lot of information now. Unless you of course you're kind of like me, you research all the same things. Some things you're just not going to know unless you know how you're supposed to know. You'd have to kind of do it the way that I did. But for a lot of people, they haven't done that, which is fine. That's good. But I want to make people aware just exactly where we are, okay, and how we got here, and why things are exactly the way that they are, whether it be Donald Trump in the United States or how how this whole COVID-19 thing has come about and why things kind of went the way they did. There are reasons for it, but they're not exactly out in the open. And even with the Pentagon coming out and saying that that we're not alone, they don't you don't see it. You don't see them telling NBC News and Fox News and all this. They're not telling us on mainstream media. Okay, they release it little small bits of information here and there, so it's hard to find. And if you do, then once you do get the information, then you get a whole bunch of misinformation. So for you to understand exactly where we are, and if you never if you don't know the fact that we're not alone, or who's been here, or who is here, or who's been coming here from other solar systems, or people that were here from the solar system, or anything about the solar system, if you don't know, how are you supposed to know, right? So, so let me help you out here, okay? Okay, let's start where I started, okay? I had to start somewhere, so I started at the creation of our solar system. I figured that's the best place to start, right at the very beginning, before anything else, right? Okay, and if you want to go back a little farther, we can actually. Well, let's start with the Big Bang. Okay, the Big Bang theory states that at some point, 13.5 billion years ago, suddenly something, okay, and then there was this Big Bang, and the universe was created. Now, there's a problem with that theory, okay, and it's not just me who's found a problem with theories. Uh, Before the Big Bang, if there was nothing, then all of a sudden an explosion just happened from right out of nothing. You can't. That doesn't work. Okay, if there was nothing, an explosion can't come from nothing. Now, here's another theory. They said it was the Big Crunch. The universe that was here before came in and made a big crunch, and then boom, made the Big Bang and started again. But once again, there's a problem. Okay, with that theory. If there was a big crunch as it's coming in, it's leaving nothing behind, and then, so that just doesn't work. Okay, the universe has always and will always be here. Okay, it's infinite. Right now, because we can only see so far. I mean, we're our race isn't that old. Okay, so our technology is right now it's getting pretty good, but I mean, we're a fairly young race. I mean, for all intents and purposes, our technology has only really come about the last 50 years, and most of the technology that's actually available, we don't see it all. A lot of it's hidden. So, so it makes for some, pretty confusing topic of conversation. So there was no Big Bang. The universe has always been here. Okay. And what happens is, if you look around, okay, like at the night sky, you see all these stars, right? Okay, every star that you see, there's at the very least, one planet around that star, no less, because when stars are created, okay, they start in a nebula cloud, okay. If you, my favorite right now is the Eagle Nebula. It's called the Pillars of Creation. If you look it up on YouTube, you'll see it's this huge nebula, and it's a gas cloud, right? And it's got all kinds of different things like asteroids and rocks and gases and elements and also all kinds of things floating around, right? And once enough of it gets in it, and it comes all together, and starts getting tighter and tighter and tighter. What happens is it'll reach fusion, and then a star is created and goes, and it blows everything out, right? All the dust gets blown out, and then because of the new star that's born that has gravity, the dust starts going around and crashing into each other and crashing into each other. And what happens is that's what happens when that starts happening. Things start crashing into each other. Pieces get bigger and bigger and bigger because in space there's a lot of static, and things stick together. That's how planets are created. So 4.5 billion years ago, okay, that's what happened with our sun. Okay, this was at one point a great big nebula, and it had all certain types of elements and gases and everything that made our solar system. So our star, once it reached fusion, everything came out. Okay, and then for a millennia, things are orbiting around the sun and crashing into each other and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. As the planets are getting bigger now, on our first 4 planets that are away from our sun. Okay, we got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Okay, now the first 4 are terrestrial planets. Then in the solar system, after Mars, there's an asteroid belt. Okay, that doesn't belong there. Okay, when our solar system was created, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and where the asteroid belt that was a planet. Okay, because an asteroid belt doesn't just appear in the middle of a solar system and just randomly. That was actually a planet at one point. Okay, so then there's that planet. Then then we get to our gas giants where we got Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and then of course the dwarf planet Pluto. That's out farther reaches as a solar system, and then we got what was called a Kuiper belt, and that's where all the elements came from during the period of late heavy bombardment. Now, when the planets were still, Earth was still a big ball of molten rock and iron. All the iron, because it's heavier, would sink to the center of the planet and leave the molten rock on the outside. Now, at some point before all the planets are positioned the way they are now, okay, Jupiter and Saturn were in each other's places, and as they were switching places, when they got close to each other at one point, because they're so big and they got such a heavy gravitational pull, it was like taking somebody's hand, going through the Kuiper belt, and just grabbing millions upon millions upon millions of these asteroids that are in the Kuiper belt, and brought them in towards the sun. Okay, so now all these things are for millennia are going through our solar system. They're crashing into every planet. Okay, these asteroids, they got all the elements, things like amino acids and gold, and all the elements, everything. Okay, but they hit every planet and every moon on the way in, not just Earth. They hit everything. That's why we got water and other things like that. So as it's crashing into every planet, it's cooling them off, like the five that would have been on the inside of the solar system. They were all terrestrial planets. Okay, and then you got the gas giants on the farther out. Now the gas giants between Saturn and Jupiter have about 200 moons, and a few of them we already know. Things like Europa, Titan. Especially Europa. Europa has more water than all the oceans on Earth, from about 2.5 to 5 times, depending, somewhere in that area. Okay, and it has liquid water. It's an ocean world, and I'll tell you right now, there's life there. Wherever there's water, there's life. And there's Enceladus is another moon that has lots of water, lots and lots and lots of water. It's another one that has life on it, guaranteed. just like Earth, we got water, we got life. Okay, so all these planets now. Okay, yes. Now, okay. Now, after our solar system was formed, there's two things that are in our solar system right now that weren't there after the solar system was created. There's two things. Two things are, one of them is the moon around Saturn, and it's called Iapetus. Okay, that moon is shaped like a dodecahedron, and right in the equator of it, the whole goes like this, and the planet, and then it goes up like this, and it goes up for 6 miles, and that goes all the way around that planet or that moon. There is no formation like that anywhere in nature, and the reason being is because it doesn't belong. The other one that doesn't belong is our moon. Okay, our moon isn't from a protoplanet crashing into the top of the Earth and shearing the top of the Earth off, and it got caught in our gravity to create our moon. Okay, because if that had happened during the period of late heavy bombardment, that moon would have been absolutely decimated or destroyed from the period of late heavy bombardment, or it would have got cooled off the way our planet did, and it would be rocky and terrestrial. But look at it. It isn't. It's a big ball of dust, moon dust and moon rocks and stuff like that. And when they went up there, and Apollo 13 went up there. Apollo 11. When they went up there, the second time they went up there, they crashed their booster rocket, their booster thing. They crashed it into the moon as they were pulling away. And when it hit the moon, boom! And the moon rung like a bell for 8 hours. And the reason it did that is because it's hollow. So that moon and Iapetus don't belong in the solar system. Okay, remember that, because it's kind of important. Okay, remember that. Now, our Earth has been formed. Now it's got ocean. It's got oceans and like that. And okay, but here's the thing: without the moon, our planet was not very hospitable. Okay, it would be a terrestrial planet, but there would be the oceans would have been. The weather patterns on this planet would have been absolutely brutal, and I mean brutal. It wouldn't have been very friendly to life, because it had been the pad, like the weather and everything would have been so brutal. But along comes our moon, and at some point, okay, our moon comes here. Whoever put it there, and they put it there. Now, here's the thing about our moon. It's 1/400th the size of the sun. Okay, that's pretty neat. Here's the other part. It's also exactly 1/400th the distance between the Earth and the sun. That's why we get a full eclipse. That's mathematically impossible. Okay, not for something that crashed into our planet and just happened to make a moon. Yeah, that doesn't work. Somebody brought that there and put it there, and when they put our moon there, what it did is it gave our planet its axis. Okay, it gives us our tides. Okay, because as it rotates, the tides come in, the tides come out. It gives us our weather patterns. It gives us our seasons, and it's tidally locked, meaning one side always faces the Earth. We can't see what's on the other side of the moon. So once it was here, it gave this earth of ours that we live on the kind of conditions that were perfect for life to not only to flourish, to survive, but to flourish. And believe me, it flourished. I mean, look at the amount of life that we have got on this planet, from the oceans to the birds to us. So as you can see, just by having the moon made everything possible for that has happened on our planet here. Okay, but that was brought here. It doesn't belong here. Okay, and the other one is Iapetus. That moon, that doesn't belong there. What they're for? Well, they were brought here. Obviously, this one here was brought so it would give this planet the conditions it needed for life to evolve and be able to flourish. Right. The one around Saturn isn't it's a gas giant. We can't go into it because, well, as far as we know, because the sheer pressure and everything, it would destroy any ship. But I think the two are connected, and I think they're transportation hubs, stargates, I guess would be the best way to describe it. But and that was long. Okay, when that came here, that's before all this happened. Okay, the dinosaurs and all the things that have happened since then. Okay, but right from the very start. Okay, right from the very start, even before we were here, aliens have been coming to this world, always. And it might seem a little, I guess to some people it might seem a little bit frightening, but here's the thing. Our existence is tied to other civilizations. If it wasn't for them, we would have never have come to be. And we've been lied to about the origins of our race, mankind. Okay, we've been lied to about how we came to be, and it's. I'll get into that a little bit more in my next video. I just wanted to start with how this solar system came to be and what's here now. Okay, and that's how I wanted this video to start. Take care, and I'll talk to you in my next video.